Good evening. My name is Terry Ferguson. I'm happy to be here this evening to present the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field. I live in Richmond, BC, a suburb of Vancouver, on the west coast of Canada. I've had a deep interest in the practices and philosophy of meditation and Eastern spiritual teachings ever since my final year of high school. I started a daily meditation practice when I was 17. And I credit those 20-minute, twice-daily meditation periods for inspiring me to not only finish my high school studies, but to also actually thrive and excel in my final year of grade 12. I carried on my daily practice through my early years of finding myself, and it led me to becoming a meditation teacher at the age of 19. I taught transcendental meditation in the Vancouver area for several years, while regularly attending advanced courses to further my studies in the deep philosophy behind that ancient tradition, and learning and going deep into advanced meditation practices. A few years later, I was in the final week of a 6-month advanced meditation course and had an inner vision which guided me to change my plans and to meet my future wife. I was guided to go to Ontario to join a team project instead of going back home, and how to recognize her when we met. A few days later, I landed in Toronto and was invited to stay with a friend while the project team came together. And a week or so later, I was in another town speaking to the local teachers there about our project when a beautiful young woman walked into the room and introduced herself. When she spoke her name, I knew it was the girl that I was sent to meet. To make a long story short, our project lasted just long enough for us to make our connection, and it was suddenly canceled. We were soon offered an opportunity to take over a small meditation center in a nearby town for 6 months. A little over a year later, we were married and moved to Vancouver. We discovered that we both had our spiritual initiation on the same day and even the same time of day, about 2,600 miles apart. Our spiritual paths had taken a few twists and turns with enlightened teachers, spiritual masters, but we've always felt guided to take the next steps together. And now, after many years, we are again guiding people on how to live happier and healthier lives. In my business life, I've always been interested in leading-edge technology, and in my mid-20s, I co-founded a company in the energy conservation industry, and we later developed firefighting technologies for the helicopter industry, which are now the industry standard. A sudden business breakup led me to a deeper spiritual quest for answers as to why and how it all went wrong. I moved into the computer industry in sales and marketing of both hardware and software projects and products, and later into marketing and consulting in the area of business development by helping clients procure government grants for international marketing. That led into the development of products and projects in the eco-technology and clean energy fields. In September 2012, a friend invited us to an evening presentation by Master Sha. We were quite curious as we had actually met him about 15 years earlier, when he had a very unique acupuncture practice in Vancouver. At that time, I was suffering from back pain that wasn't healing even after trying all the healing modalities that I could find. I had even done acupuncture and qigong healings with little effect. I tried Master Sha's unique method and he cured my problem in just a few sessions. A few months later, I called to book a tune-up session and I was told that he had moved to Toronto. We lost track of him until that evening in 2012. And then when we saw him come on the stage at the local center, we both had a very clear vision and realization that this was to be our next major step. We've continued to jump into the deep end as much as we can with Master Sha's profound and practical teachings. And in 2017, I was very honored to have been appointed as a master teacher by Master Sha. Aside from being a very successful acupuncturist, Master Sha is also a master of most of the Chinese spiritual and healing arts, starting as a young child at age 9 with Tai Chi. He soon learned Qigong, Shaolin Kung Fu, Feng Shui, I Ching, and he became a doctor of Chinese medicine, as well as an MD in China. He studied with top Taoist and Buddhist masters, and later studied a very unique style of Chinese calligraphy called Ibitsa, one-stroke writing, which he has transformed from an art form to the world's most advanced spiritual healing modality, the Tao calligraphy healing field. He has tirelessly traveled the world for all these years and now has 10 major centers around the world, and he has written 26 books in English, including 11 New York Times bestsellers. In 2006, he was honored with the prestigious Martin Luther King Jr. Commemorative Commission Award for his humanitarian efforts. And in 2016, he received rare and prestigious appointments as the National Chinese Calligraphy Master and Honorable Research Professor, which are the highest titles that a Chinese calligrapher can receive by the State Ethnic Academy of Painting in China. Master Sha has trained over 150 master teachers and hundreds more Dao hands practitioners, Dao calligraphy healers, and has major Dao calligraphy healing fields in all of the centers, as well as many others now being brought to other areas. A few months after we started studying with Master Sha and doing the practices regularly, we were just starting to watch a webcast of a seminar that Master Sha was teaching. Right after breakfast, I suddenly had serious pain and nausea, and I was about to pass out. A year or two before, I'd had a similar experience, and the doctor told me that I should have my gallbladder removed. At that time, I decided instead to use acupuncture and Chinese herbs, which seemed to solve the problem. The doctor had said to go immediately to the hospital emergency room if it ever happened again. This time it felt so serious that I knew that I didn't have time to wait for an ambulance. I remembered that Master Sha had recently given us a special way to handle such an emergency. I did that, and instantly the pain subsided. The next day, as we were watching the webcast, Master Sha was talking about the 5 elements of ancient Chinese philosophy. As he described the qualities of the wood element, I recognized that several of my health issues were related to that area: gallbladder, eyes, and tendons. He announced that they were planning to film some TV shows and was asking us to apply to be a demo for the healing series. I immediately went on and applied, and the next day at a break in the program, I could see that he was reading the emails of people who had applied, and I knew that he was going to choose me. He did. And I thought that they would be doing the filming a few months later when he was back in Vancouver. The next day, I received an email saying that I should go to Toronto and be there 2 days later for the filming. So my wife instantly went into travel agent mode, and 2 days later, we were there in Toronto in the studio for the filming. Master Sha gave me healing for my gallbladder, as well as my sore tendons. And when he came to Vancouver the following March, he saw me at an evening presentation and asked me to speak about my experiences. I told him that both issues were resolved and hadn't come back. He graciously said, "How else can I serve you?" I said, "Well, Master Sha, speaking about the wood element again, I suddenly have developed a strange condition where my left eyelid is drooping over the pupil and it's very hard to see. And I can't even drive very well, and it's impinging on my neck even trying to drive with my head tilted back so I could see out of that eye. The eye doctor said that they really don't have a cure for it, and I'm worried that I won't be able to see out of that eye well enough. And as I said, it's already difficult to drive a car." So he said, "All right, I'll give you a new eye." And he did his healing transmission. I felt a very powerful energy come into my eye, and a few days later the condition was reversed. I was surprised that not only did the drooping pupil come back to normal, but I could drive without glasses, which I'd worn for driving for 12 years. I haven't needed them ever since, which is over 7 years now. These are a few of my personal healing miracles from Master Sha directly. And I've experienced the power, the miraculous power actually, of these teachings many times. For myself, for many clients and students that I've met. Master Sha has been tirelessly creating new healing modalities and more healers and teachers over 20 years. These miracles and more have become common occurrences. A Tao calligraphy healing field is a room in which several or many Tao calligraphies are displayed. People come to rest, meditate, or practice yoga in the healing field. They also do special Tai Chi practices with the Tao calligraphies to bring healing to all areas of their lives, their families, and friends. This includes the physical body, health conditions, relationships, business, finances, and more. The power of the Tao calligraphy healing field is not limited to being personally present with it, as its transformational effects can be broadcast by video all over the world. Thousands of people worldwide have reported extraordinary results for conditions and situations that they thought were hopeless. I would urge everyone to experience the power of Tao calligraphy healing field to bring healing and regeneration, rejuvenation to all areas of your life. Thank you, thank you, thank you.